You've probably heard of Toma, or the Tominator, and her incredible snatch. Why is she so good? How was she able to snatch a 4 kilogram, 9 pound world record in this training session? And just how did this historic session lead her to a second world championship performance? We're going to answer all of those questions in this video, which, by the way, is sponsored by the Weightlifter's Guide to the Snatch, but more on that later in the video.
She's got a new world record for Loredana Toma. It means the world to her.
A quick recap for those of you who are new here, or even to weightlifting. Loredana Toma is a Romanian weightlifter. Previously a 64 kilo lifter, she now competes in the 71 kilo category because it's the only one of the two that ends up in the Olympic Games. Toma came onto the senior international scene way back in 2012, but wasn't anything overly special initially, placing in the top 10 but outside of real medal contention. But by 2016, Toma began medaling internationally, surpassing the 100 kilo mark in the snatch more regularly. At first it was silvers at a European level, but then golds, and then before you knew it, in 2017, world champion in the 64 kilo category. And for the following few years, Toma was pretty much unbeatable within Europe, winning 4 straight titles. But despite having become world champion in 2017, she was unable to reclaim that title. A streak of bronze medals in 2018 and 19, but that was it. You see, the thing with Toma's win in 2017, the thing that perhaps swung in her favour, as happens of course with all winners across all sports and disciplines, is that, well, she got a bit lucky. Because in 2017 there was no Team China. The lifter who owned all records, the snatch, the clean and jerk and the total, perhaps the most dominant lifter of the time, Deng Wei, was not present at that competition. Over the years the two had battled it out, but Deng's clean streak remained. And so once the arguably greatest weightlifter ever, Deng Wei, returned to competition, Toma wasn't quite able to do it again. But Toma's snatch was again rising, snatching 110 kilos, 111 kilos in 2019, 113 kilos in 2020, 114 kilos in 2021, just 3 months prior to the Olympics in Tokyo. And then, Romanian weightlifting faced a ban from international weightlifting for 18 months. And that's it. That was the story up until this point, this training session. The best training session, by far, from the World Championships. Clearly fueled by the fact that she'd not been at Tokyo, and that she wanted to become world champion again, in the face this time of her Chinese opposition. Toma put in a training cycle that had been electric to watch over the previous months. I'd said for those months that she'd set a world record in this 71 kilo category at 118 kilos, but I don't think I or anyone could have predicted this. In this session, as I'm sure many of you know, Loredana Toma snatched 121 kilos, 4 kilos over the world record. This is something I've never seen before in person, an athlete breaking a world record by so much. Sure, I've seen old footage of lifters deep in a non-tested training cycle hitting absurd records. Akayev's 210 snatch, a 10 kilo world record, comes to mind. But only a week out from competition, right in front of us. This was unbelievable. Sure, we all get excited if Lasher snatches 215 kilos, 10 kilos under his record. Or Shizuong clean and jerks 190 kilos, 8 kilos under his record. Or Kwosung as much as looks at a barbell. But to exceed the world record, not once, but twice with multiple attempts, is unlike anything I've seen as a weightlifting journalist. I arrived to film athletes at this World Championships the evening before this, and so turned up on this day to find Loredana lifting early that morning, probably around 8 hours prior to this session. She was lifting moderate-ish weights and pulling pretty heavy, certainly in excess of her best snatch. I asked her if she'd be lifting anything heavy later in the day, or another day coming up soon, and she mentioned that that evening, maybe, she might lift a bit heavy. And she said it in one of those almost holding back kind of ways, almost embarrassed by how much she would probably end up lifting, almost a little bit bashful.
Oh my word, that is an amazing lift. Now, Loredana has just equaled the world standard. This will be an enormous 6 kilo personal best for her internationally. And that might be the best of all 3 lifts. She's got it, a new world record for Loredana Toma. It means the world to her. She hasn't competed in a year and a half, and she comes back with the heaviest snatch anyone has ever hit in this category. Absolutely incredible.
I always think that equaling world records on a second attempt is such a power move. It's like they are so good that they aren't even aware of the records, and they are simply using the best that anyone else has ever done, ever, as a stepping stone, rather than something to leapfrog. Toma just stood on the world record on her second attempt and then made a bigger jump, playing her own game of weightlifting, while the rest of the competition just watches. And having watched Toma train over the years, albeit whilst focusing primarily on the filming aspect of her sessions, I've noticed a fair bit about her style of programming. It's very classic with regards to traditional Soviet international master of sport type training. What do I mean by that? Well, here are a few things. In general, the workload is far too high to achieve in one session a day, so there's almost always 2 sessions, even right up until a couple of days out from a major competition. The 2 sessions are split into strength work and technical or competition practice type work, i.e. pulls and squats in the morning, or snatch and clean and jerks in the evening. The workload is still too high, and Toma's requirement for specificity in the competition lifts requires her to regularly add more lifts to the morning session to get more practice. So she might add power snatches or power clean and push press to her morning session. Breaking down the technical components of the snatch is something that's extremely important in understanding exactly where your strengths and weaknesses lie. That's why I want to introduce you all to the Weightlifter's Guide to the Snatch. It breaks a snatch down into more bite-sized pieces than any existing literature and helps you find your individual weak spots, along with the corrective technical and strength exercises that you should be doing to help improve your snatch. So whether you jump forwards or backwards, loop the bar, early arm bend, lack mobility, this book will not only diagnose you, it will prescribe you with the fix. It's kind of like troubleshooting your snatch. It was written by Max Ater and Joshua Gibson, and we're selling it at an early bird price right now, 40% off, at Weightlifting Hacks, so go pick up a copy. Your snatch will thank you. The link is below. Back to this session. It doesn't happen often, but occasionally you do get one of those sessions where it's not just you as the media who are filming, it's all of the other athletes and coaches in the training hall from other countries. There's a mutual respect that goes out where they realise that this lift that's about to happen, this record, isn't just a personal record that furthers an athlete's career, it's a world record that furthers the entire sport. And they all want to aid in the furthering of what the sport is capable of, and so they all go silent. Based off this, we knew what was going to happen come the day of the competition. But to be honest, while performing the commentary, I was nervous. Nervous because Toma's Chinese competitors, Zheng Tiantian and Lia Guifang, were impressively strong clean and jerkers, and because I saw what happened here in this session. Toma may have had a lead in the snatch, but Lia Guifang was going to open at 140 kilos, more than Toma had ever made. In fact, watching Toma lift in this training session in the clean and jerk showed again the drop-off that she has in the jerk compared to the snatch and the clean. In a competition of snatch plus clean, I think things would rarely be as tense for Toma as they were in this World Championships. Her pull, timing and squat are second to none, but her jerk really is an issue. It was nail-biting, watching as Toma made 137 kilos in competition, a kilo shy of what she hit here in training, but then missing 140 kilos. Sitting at the commentary table, watching the redemption arc of Loredana Toma hit an obstacle. With the Chinese lifters still very much in it, it looked as though she was unable to hang on. We sat and watched painfully as a combined 3 attempts were selected by the coaching staff to overtake Toma. Surely, we thought, one of them would work. Having last won in 2017 without the presence of the Chinese, could she finally, 5 years later, reclaim the same title with the presence of Team China? The phrase snatch for show, jerk for dough has been rewritten, and you too can rewrite your snatch with The Weightlifter's Guide to the Snatch. Diagnose your technique and implement proper changes. Maybe one day you too will snatch like Toma. Maybe.
Great clean. Better, I think. And that's a
Very
great
nice
jerk.
She is in shape. She knows it.
Yeah.
Great clean.
She's not going to be able to hold on to the jerk. That is so strong.
Just for the lead.
Oh,
Oh my word, she can't
this is
make
behind.
it. A little bit tough.
Very
and
tough
she's not
clean.
going to
She
be
can't
able to.
get up.
Okay, she's got one attempt remaining.
This
Can she get up with it this time? She's not going to be able to do it.
Over.
She can't bear to let it go, but she's going to have to.
World champion, representing Romania,
Medalla de oro, campeona mundial representando a Rumania,
Loredana Toma.
Loredana Toma, for the second time in her career, a world champion.